Hello everyone and welcome back to Mindful Moment Crochet. Today we are going to talk about how to read crochet charts. This to me is one of those things where if you're getting lost on a pattern, something isn't quite making sense, if it has a chart, this is a great way to get back on track. For those of you who might be visual learners and just need an extra way of understanding something, I think this is a really cool way of learning how to crochet, where you can just kind of look at the stitches and know where they go, and it's like magic. So it's definitely worth, I think, understanding, if for nothing else, to have a backup tool. But let's take a look. This book I got off of Amazon. It's by Sarah Hazel. Hopefully I didn't butcher her last name there. But this is the Crochet Stitch Dictionary. I think these books are really helpful for understanding crochet. There are ones on Tunisian crochet, there are granny squares, there are all kinds of books out there on crochet, but having the basics available, super helpful if you're trying to create your own patterns, or just want to make a cool design in something. So we will take a look at her book today, as well as how to read some of the charts that are available to you. So, first off, I just want to kind of take a look. There are a ton of crochet stitches, and I don't even think that this is all inclusive, so just know that. I think there are a lot of options for how you can make things look in crochet. I think it's probably one of the reasons that I prefer crochet, maybe not over knitting, though I am way better at crochet than knitting. But there's just so many cool designs. Maybe if I was better at knitting, I would be more impartial in that opinion. But anyways, I think that crochet can offer a lot of really beautiful designs. Pebble lace, open fan, interlocking shell, so many cool things to take a look at. So, and again, there are 200 of them. So, anyways, we will take a look. One thing that I do also want to point out is this chart. So I really love Prim crochet hooks. However, they do not have a millimeter measurement on them. So this just says Prim and the letter H, which is not always helpful. So, for example, on this one, this is from Loops and Threads, which is a Michaels brand. It does tell me that it's an H, and this one does happen to say that it's also 5 millimeter. But if you were to get a yarn that only has one of those pieces of information, you can come right in here and it will tell you exactly what to look for. So I have an H hook and it's a 5 millimeter, and you could also go vice versa. So this is super helpful if you're unsure of where to start, or you're like, well, it says I need a 5 millimeter hook. What is that? Don't want to pull out calipers to try to crochet. You can come right here to this book. Obviously you can use Google or anything else, but I do think it's helpful if you're looking for something already and you're in this book. Now, as far as starting to crochet, I think this is a really cool book to help you understand fastening off, turning your work, turning chains, foundation chains, all kinds of stuff. So really cool there, as well as not counting the slip knot or the one that's on your hook. Joining yarn for things like changing colors. Then starting here is where you will find information on how to read a crochet chart. So a chain stitch is this little oval. A single crochet is a plus sign. A slip stitch is a dot. Extended single crochet has kind of a T at the bottom. A half double crochet is an uppercase T. Double crochet is that same uppercase T with a slash in the middle. I like to think of that as the one yarn over that you do on double crochet. And then treble crochet has 2 slashes. And again, you yarn over twice before you make that stitch. So that to me is a helpful way of thinking about it. It also goes into front loop and back loop only. So when you're looking at the V on the top of your work, the front loop curves this way and the back loop curves this way. And so that's exactly what the pattern is going to have you do in these charts. The front loop looks like this, and that's a front loop only stitch. The back loop looks like this, and that's exactly what it's having you do. That's exactly how the diagram is going to have it. So it really makes it easy to understand, which I think is really helpful. Spike stitches, if you've never made a spike stitch before, you're basically going into a row lower, pulling that stitch all the way up, and then making it the same as the row above it. And then of course you can keep going with that idea. So front raised double crochet is we're doing something in the front of the previous row. And then this is a back raised double crochet. Again, you're going into the back to the front. So you're going kind of around to make this stitch. In the same place, we are going to have all stitches coming from the same starting point. And then same thing if you're ever doing stitches together, they are going to come to the same point. So super helpful. Bobble stitches, puff stitches, they all eluded me for the longest time until charts. So if you're having trouble understanding what a pattern is telling you, I think this is where it's super helpful. So what we have here on this bobble stitch are 3 double crochets. Let me raise this up just a little bit. So we have 3 double crochets, and then right at the top, we are going to join them together. So it's going to make it very tight. The difference here is in the popcorn, you're starting in the same one, but then you're actually joining the first stitch and the last stitch to make a cup. So here you're kind of slip stitching them all together. Here you are going to actually make the first one and the last one be friends. So it kind of depends on, yeah, you can see here, they're all going back into this one chain to close together. So sorry, not a slip stitch. You're just going to make them all be best friends into the same chain. So again, if you are having any issues with trying to understand patterns, I think having a stitch dictionary on hand can be super helpful. So let's talk about what this looks like in real time. All right. So just as an example, we will do this open shell and picot. So picot stitches are going to be these 3 little chains that make these cute little nubs. And you can tell that because there's 1, 2, 3, and there's a double crochet coming out of it, and they have 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet coming out of it. Picot down here, 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet coming out of it. 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet coming out of it. So the double crochet here, here, and here with the chain stitches in between is going to make that nice open shell pattern. And then the picot are going to be right in there. So as soon as you look at a chart, you can visualize a little bit easier what this stitch is going to look like. Same thing here. It's giving you an example of a picot ridge. And so again, you can see you get this big open area, just like up here. And then you're going to get this little bobble from that picot ridge. And so it kind of gives you an idea of, well, what do I want my fabric to look like? What do I want my blanket to look like? What do I want my scarf to look like? This is a really easy way of trying to figure out what stitch you might want to use. If you want to alternate things, it really does make it quite easy. So let's practice. For the sake of today, I'm going to use this one with the open shell and picot, and I'm just going to add a different, just in case my book closes on me. And I'm using loops and threads. It's just a basic acrylic yarn, and I'm going to pull off a big hunk here. Hopefully I didn't just knot that on myself. All right. So we're going to start with our slip knot on our hook, and I'm just going to start up here because I think it's easier, and just show you how to read this as we go, and then we'll double check my work, see if I got it right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 chains that we need to do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So again, let's take a closer look at this one. So again, we're making this open shell. We just counted across for those chain stitches. We counted this one as basically our turning chain, and that one's going to hang off the side here as our turning chain. Now we are going to single crochet into that first stitch, or into that first chain from the hook. Or I guess skip one and then single crochet. There we go. All right. Now we are going to skip 2 chains. Let's see. I'll make sure you all can see it. So we're going to skip these 2 chains, and then we are going to double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, all out of this same one. So we're going to skip 2, 1 and 2. We are going to, in our third one here, we are going to double crochet, chain 1, back into that same chain, we are going to double crochet and chain 1, and we are going to double crochet. Beautiful. And that is this fan. Now the next thing is we are going to single crochet into this next chain. So again, we skip 2, we're going to skip 2 more and single crochet. So 1 and 2 and single crochet. All right, so we skipped these 2, we single crocheted into the next one. Now we're going to do 1, 2, 3 chains and then single crochet into the next chain. So 1, 2, 3 and single crochet. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to repeat that same thing on the other side. That's all we're doing. So I'm going to skip 2 and I'm going to do my double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, just like we did on the first side. double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and where am I? There we go. Double crochet. All right. Now same thing, moving forward, we are going to skip these 2 chains. We are going to single crochet, and then we will count up all of our chains. It looks like 7 on first glance. So we'll chain 7, and then we'll start working back into the top of this middle double crochet. But we'll get there in just a second. So I'm going to single crochet on the end. I'm going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, now it's asking me on this middle double crochet to single crochet, picot, single crochet. Oh, it would help if I turn my work. There we go. I'm going to single crochet. I'm going to picot, which is at chain 3, 2, 3, and then I'm going to single crochet again. And the way I know I'm coming in and out of that same stitch is because it's coming out of the top of that T. So single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, and then we'll move on to the next chain 3. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Now something else I like about this book is it also helps you define what is in what row here at the bottom. So if you're curious up here, if you're on row 4 or 3, or if you're trying to figure out what's happening, you can always come back down here and refer to kind of her broken apart charts, which I think is super helpful. All right, so we are here. So we did our chain 3. Now we are going to do a double crochet in the top of the picot from last time. So right here, I have my little picot. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And I also know it because it's front and back end. It has some bookends that are single crochets. So I'm going to go right into there with a double crochet. All right, now we are going to chain 3 and into the top of our double crochet from the last row, we are going to single crochet, picot, single crochet. So the fan from last time, we find this middle double crochet, and we are going to single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to come right back into the top of that double crochet. Oh, not with a double crochet, with a single crochet. There we go. And that's going to give us our picot right there. So we have one on each side, looking very uniform. So far, so good. All right, now to finish this row off, we are going to do a chain 3 and then a treble crochet into the top of our first row single crochet. So let's see, 1, 2, and 3. And then to treble crochet, we're going to wrap twice. We're going to come back into that single crochet from all the way back here. And 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. So we have chained 1, 2, 3, we have treble crocheted. So now we are going to come over here and we're going to chain 1, and we will work back across starting with a single crochet in the top of that treble crochet. Now we are also in the repeat. So we are doing row 1 again, just up here. So we're going to do a double crochet, a chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet. So chain 1, turn our work, single crochet into the top of that treble crochet, and then into the picot. So it doesn't really matter where, we're just going to go under that nub there. We are going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right. Now we are going to go into the top of our double crochet that we did in the middle here last time. And it's asking us for a single crochet, picot, so chain 3, and a single crochet, all right back into the top of that double crochet. So single crochet, picot, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet. All right, so now we are on to the next thing, and we are going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into our picot from last round. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, back there together. Beautiful. All right. And then we are going to do a single crochet on the top of our chain 4. So about halfway through our chain 7 from last time. So let's count here. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's kind of the back bump of it. So we'll go kind of the side there. And we will single crochet. All right, now we are going to chain 7 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we are coming back to the middle, which was our double crochet. And we are going to single crochet, picot, single crochet. So again, just like, if you overlay it on the diagram, it almost looks the exact same. So we are going to come into this middle double crochet and it would help if I turn my work. There we go. It makes it a lot easier to see where you're aiming to. So we are going to single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. Wonderful. So now we've made this picot, and we have closed it back with this single crochet. So now we are going to chain 3 again, 2 and 3, and then we are going to double crochet into the top of this picot. So here's our picot from last time. It's this little hump right there, and just so it's a little clearer, we have our little bump from the row before, and we just want to double crochet into it. So at this point we're on the repeat. Really the biggest thing is just kind of getting started with this. There we go. And then 1, 2, and 3. And then again, we're going to go into the top of our double crochet from the middle one in this fan, and we are going to single crochet, picot, single crochet, single crochet, picot, 2, 3, and single crochet. There we go. And then chain 3, 2 and 3, and then we need to treble crochet to join to the top of our single crochet from the round before. So I'm going to loop twice, or yarn over twice, and come down here. You can see, I think it's helpful to see that kind of crossbar right there so that I know I had a stitch. And that makes it a little bit easier to find. Also, this is my double crochet from last time, so I know it should be hanging out right in here because my diagram tells me so. I have a double crochet and then I have my single crochet right next to it. So I think it also helps if you get lost in your pattern. It's a little bit easier to find your way out with a chart if it's available to you. All right, so we have treble crocheted it together, and then we are going to chain 1, turn our work. All right, and now we are on row 5. So we are going to go back across, and we are done with our little sample here. So we are going to start with a single crochet at the top of the treble crochet. And then we are going to do the same thing. We're going to double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet right into that picot. 1, 2, chain, and 3. And then, so this time we're not asked for a picot, so it is a little bit different. We have been doing a single crochet, picot, single crochet. At the top here, we're just asked for 2 single crochets, no picot. But it's still going to be in the top of that double crochet from last time. So single crochet twice into the same stitch. And then we're going to finish up in our picot with the double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet. All right, so I have my little fan here with my 3 double crochets and my 2 chains. And I'm going to join back to the 4th chain with a single crochet to finish up my little swatch here. So we're gonna count our chains. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4, those little V's from down there. And because it's the end of this pattern, I think I want it to look a little bit better. So I'm actually gonna try to go in essentially through the back bump, but I'm gonna try to put both of the V's from that chain. Close it up a little bit nicer. All right, so this is our swatch, and I think that is beautiful. And then you can see with what we made here, we have our 2 ridges and we have our 2 ridges. Down here we have a little bit of space here. We have a little bit of space here, and we have 2 picots. We have bigger gaps here and here. We have our double crochet and gaps on either side. So this is kind of a fun way to check to see if you are understanding a pattern correctly, maybe before you start, or understanding a stitch before you start. Is just to kind of slow down, see if there is a chart available to you, because I think that's what makes crochet, for people who need a different style of learning, I think it makes it very visual. Does my diagram, does my chart look similar to what I have here? And part of this is also just getting used to crochet and the anatomy of a stitch. I don't know that a true beginner is going to understand this, so maybe start with the video on how to crochet first, and kind of learn where your different spaces are. There's also one on how to hand crochet, so if you are interested in just kind of learning the anatomy of stitches, I would start elsewhere before we try to conquer charts, but I'm here for whatever you want to do. And if you do run across something that you have questions on, please let me know. I'm happy to see if I can help. But I think this is just a fun way to learn how to crochet, because I don't have to go back and forth to my pattern and get lost. Okay, so where was I? Where's my asterisk? Where did I start? What did I just do? It's a little bit easier just to say, okay, I just did those 3 chains, now what? And because it's marked, right, so row 1 is going to go this way, row 2 is going to read this way, row 3 is going to read this way, row 4 is going to read this way, and row 5 is going to read that way. It becomes a little bit easier to know where you started, to maybe even know what row you're on. So again, practice with charts. There are lots of them. I mean, you can do spots, you can do bouillon, raised popcorns, paired popcorns, alternate popcorns, double crosses. You can really get into a groove. And I think that a lot of this starts with chart work and understanding where stitches go. And it makes it a little bit easier if you've never done something before, because you can visually see it. So let me know if this was helpful in the comments below. If there's any other videos you are interested in seeing, of course, drop suggestions in the comments and I will be happy to see what I can do. And as always, like, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.